In terms of the test of reasonableness, we admit that objective reasonableness is an easy test, but it may not be an easy rubric to always apply, where the court is taking the privacy interest versus the nature of the exigency. But I think the court just did this in Barnes. And the court admitted that it's a fact-bound morass that demands careful attention to the facts and circumstances, including the facts and circumstances leading up to the climactic moment. And the court has to consider all relevant circumstances. And I think that the excessive force context makes a lot of sense here when we're talking about, at its apex in this context, the sanctity of human life versus the sanctity of the home. And the excessive force context also involves two strong competing interests of the safety of the officer versus the use of deadly force. And the logic of Barnes makes sense here. The application of it makes sense. And in terms of Brigham City, in terms of hybrid scenarios that have been brought up, I think that Brigham City and other cases that involve underlying criminal activity recognize, though, that first responders are first responders first. When they arrive on the scene of an emergency, they're not necessarily concerned about underlying crime. Their first instance when they respond to someone yelling help is to provide an aid to someone in need. They can worry about arresting someone for a crime or other criminal activity later on. We treat hybrid cases the same as all other exigencies. And what's important to remember is, as I was articulating to Justice Kagan, is the objective reasonableness standard allows a progressive analysis. And so when the officers arrive and do a knock and announce, it may not be objectively reasonable right away for them to go through the front door, but it allows them to go around the curtilage, to yell through an open window, to take progressive steps to alert the individual and give them every opportunity to respond and let them know that they are okay. And I don't think that probable cause allows that sufficient flexibility and doesn't differentiate between going through a door and breaking down a window. Whereas the Barnes standard and the reasonableness standard differentiates between the facts that make it reasonable to handcuff a suspect versus to tackle a suspect or to use deadly force. And that's why we think that the Montana Supreme Court appropriately applied this court's test in Brigham City. This court meant what it said in Brigham City, meant what it said in Fisher, that officers may enter when they have an objectively reasonable basis to believe someone inside is in need of immediate aid.